Hello, and welcome to the Sources Rent Bank Financial Literacy Workshop. Today, we'll be looking at how to develop and maintain healthy money habits. During this presentation, we'll look at how to set up and stick to a budget, as well as how to set smart financial goals. We'll touch on banking and taxes, and look at strategies to handle debt. Finally, we'll have some tips for handling money on a tight budget, and we'll provide some resources that may help if you find yourself struggling in the future. The first thing we're going to look at is budgeting. It can be overwhelming to think about how much money you spend, especially when you feel like you don't have enough of it. Many people find that budgeting helps them keep track of how much money is spent and where they can make adjustments so they can reach their financial goals. Budgeting isn't meant to be a restriction or a chore. Think of it more as a tool to help you reach your goals. A budget can help you better understand where your money is going so that you can figure out saving strategies that work for you. Making and sticking to a budget can help you pay off debts, save for something big like school or a car, make a rainy day fund, or just live more comfortably within your means. Now, let's take a look at how to make a budget. The first thing we need to look at when making a budget is the money coming in and the money you have going out. First, add up your monthly income from all sources. This can include money you get from working, from monthly tax credits such as child tax benefit, monthly subsidies you might get such as rental assistance, any child or spousal support you get, ministry benefits such as income assistance or disability, and any other income you get on a regular basis. Next, you want to look at where your money is going. There are two different types of expenses: fixed expenses and variable expenses. Fixed expenses are the same amount every month and include things such as rent, phone bills, and bus passes. Variable expenses can vary month to month and include things such as utility bills, groceries, and gas. Adding up your fixed expenses shouldn't be too hard, but figuring out variable expenses can be difficult. It's best to sit down and look over your bank statements so that you can figure out how much you spend on average for things such as groceries, gas, and utilities. Now that you have these two amounts added up, which is higher? Is your income higher than your expenses, or vice versa? To get a better idea of how much money is coming in and where it's going, a budget worksheet is something you might want to do at home so that you can go over your bank statements and make sure your spending for each category is accurate. For now, you can use an estimate if you aren't exactly sure of how much you spend on what. Now that you've got some idea of your income versus your expenses and where your money is going, we can look at how to move forward with that information. If your expenses are higher than your income, we need to look at either boosting your income or lowering your expenses to change this. Now that you've added up all your expenses, you can see where your money is going and where there might be room to make changes. Consider looking into cheaper phone plans, giving yourself a hard limit when it comes to buying takeout, or visiting your local library to borrow movies and TV shows instead of paying for subscription services. We can also look at ways to boost income. If you're able to, you might want to consider taking on a side job, like driving for a ride-sharing company or a delivery service. Even if you don't have a car, there are other options like being a grocery picker for grocery delivery services such as Instacart, or watching people's pets through services such as Rover. The nice thing about these types of jobs is that you work whenever works best for you, without a set schedule that may get in the way of other life commitments. If you have physical or mental limitations that prevent you from being able to work more or work at all, sources may be able to help you apply for disability designation to boost your income that way. If you've added up your income and expenses and your income is higher than your expenses, or if your income is lower than your expenses but you've figured out a way to change this, we have some tips to make sticking to a budget and keeping payments manageable for you. To keep track of upcoming payments, you could set reminders on your phone or personal calendar. You can also talk with your utility companies and other businesses that bill monthly to arrange all your payments to come out on the same day. You can schedule your payments to come out the day after you get paid so that you know you'll have enough in the bank when the payments are made. It also helps to track where your money is going in detail. For instance, following a grocery list can help you to see how much you buy and how often. By sticking to a grocery list, you can also keep yourself aware of your spending limits and better keep yourself on track with your budget. Creating a budget and sticking to it can be overwhelming, so we have a few tips to help you stay on track. It's important to remember your goals so that you can stay on track. Consider writing down your goals and keeping it somewhere you'll see them often so that you don't forget why you're sticking to your budget or get tempted to break it. Another big factor to success is staying organized. You should keep all your financial records, such as tax documents, leases, contracts, all of that stored in a safe place in case you need them in the future. You can also use your bank to your advantage. One strategy that many people have found to be helpful is to use different bank accounts for different purposes. Use one account to pay bills and daily expenses, and keep a separate savings account so that money set aside doesn't end up being swallowed up by bills. When you create your budget, you should include any debt repayments or savings goals in your expenses to keep it realistic to your situation. You should also be able to adjust your budget when needed. Our expenses, income, and goals can be changed over time. This can be affected by something as big as moving or getting a new job, or something as small as changes in the cost of groceries or gas. It's important to review your budget every so often to make sure that it still fits your needs. If you find yourself struggling to stick to your budget, it can help to reach out to family or friends for support. Tell them about your goals so that they can help keep you on track. It can be difficult to make new habits and stick to them, especially to start off, but support and encouragement can help you stay motivated and, most importantly, on track. We've looked at budgeting and mentioned saving towards a financial goal, but we haven't talked about what makes a SMART goal yet. A SMART goal is a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. We want to be specific so we know exactly what we're aiming for. If you want to save up for a new car, for instance, you might want to be specific about what kind of car you want, so that way you'll know how much you need. Your goal should also be measurable. Plan steps for how you'll reach your goal or milestones you want to meet. This helps keep you motivated and on track. Your goal should be within your power to achieve. Using the example of the car, if you know you won't be able to afford insurance and gas regularly, you probably shouldn't try to get a car just yet. Your goal should also be realistic for your situation. Keeping with the car example, if you can't drive for one reason or another, it's probably best not to buy a car just yet. Finally, your goal should be time-bound. Set a deadline for when you want to achieve your goals. If it helps, you might want to set timelines for the steps you need to take to reach your goal as well. We've gone over what a SMART goal is, but what about how to set them? The first thing you want to do is define your goal as specifically as you can. Include any costs that come with achieving your goal. If we're sticking with the car example, a good example here would be, I will save up $1,500 to buy my friend's old car. Next, you want to outline the steps needed to reach your goal. This may just be how much money you need to save, but it could also be preparing for the changes achieving this goal will bring to your life. For example, if you buy a car, you may need to rewrite your budget to account for insurance, gas, and car maintenance, or talk to your landlord about parking on the property if possible. Achieving our goals can be difficult, so it can help for us to think about possible challenges we might face ahead of time and think of how we're prepared to handle these situations. Say your landlord doesn't allow you to park on the property. Is street parking available in your neighborhood? Are there any spare parking spots in your apartment building? If you're struggling with saving money to reach your goal, reaching out to family and friends for support may help keep you motivated and on track. Finally, we want to be able to set deadlines for our goals. Having a deadline can be a good way to keep on track. To track your progress, it may help to also set deadlines for reaching steps towards your goal. This keeps you motivated when you accomplish each step in time, which will help keep you on track to your goal. Some examples of SMART goals include, I will speak with my utility companies this week to arrange payments to come out the day after my payday. I will make a grocery list before going to the store tomorrow to avoid impulse purchases and make sure I get everything I need. I will limit my spending on takeout to $50 for the month. I will reevaluate my expenses over the weekend and start setting a manageable amount aside each month for emergency savings. Try to set your own SMART goal. Is there anything you want to save for? How do you think you can reach this goal? This makes it easier to keep track of your savings and prevents you from dipping into savings to cover daily expenses. Now that you've set up your budget and set SMART goals, you want to make sure that your bank account is benefiting you and helping you reach your goals as well. If your bank account isn't benefiting you, shop around at other banks and see what kinds of accounts they can offer you. For example, if you're paying a banking fee every month, you may want to look for an account with a reduced fee or no fees. It may also help to have multiple accounts for different purposes. For example, It may benefit you to keep a checking account open to make purchases and pay bills, and have a separate savings account where you can keep and save money towards your goal. This can help to make sure that your savings don't get swallowed up by daily expenses. When it comes to opening a savings account, be sure to look over your options with different banks. Some banks may offer higher interest rates than others, or have penalties for withdrawing money early on. You can also ask your bank to automatically transfer a set amount into your savings account on a regular basis. For example, you could ask for 10% of your paycheck to be put into the savings account each time you get paid. Or, if that seems like too much for your situation, even putting away $5 into savings every week can add up quickly. Just like with SMART goals, make sure that whatever you decide is realistic for your situation. If you want to lock in savings long term for a larger goal, you may want to consider an investment plan. There are many different types of investment plans, including a tax-free savings account, registered retirement savings plan, registered disability savings plan, or registered education savings plan. Consider speaking to your bank about options available to you and shop around at other banks to see what they can offer and what best fits your needs so that you can compare things such as interest rates and minimum contributions. In certain circumstances, the government may even match your contributions to these plans up to a certain amount, so it benefits you to do some research and look at all of your options. Next, we're going to touch briefly on taxes. It's important to make sure that you do your taxes each year. Not only is it the law, but you may be entitled to a refund or tax credits. You'll also need to be able to provide your notice of assessment in order to qualify for certain programs such as BC Housing Rental Assistance because they need proof of your annual income. If you receive Canada Pension Plan, Old Age Security, and Guaranteed Income Supplement, you need to file your taxes each year to remain eligible for the Guaranteed Income Supplement. By filing your taxes each year, you make sure you're taking advantage of every benefit available to you. These benefits can come in a few different forms, such as tax deductions and tax credits. Tax deductions include things like RRSP contributions and any childcare expenses you may pay. These lower your taxable income amount so that if you ended up owing taxes, you are taxed on a lesser amount. There are also tax credits, which can be either refundable or non-refundable. Non-refundable tax credits reduce the amount of taxes you have to pay back if you're found to be owing. Donations to charities and purchases for monthly transit passes can count towards non-refundable tax credits. So if you buy a bus pass each month or find yourself making donations, it may benefit you to save those receipts for tax season. It's important to note that non-refundable tax credits will not get you a larger tax return if you're eligible for a tax return. Refundable tax credits, on the other hand, are paid back to you. This includes child tax benefit, disability tax credit, and GST. These can be a big help in maintaining a steady income, especially child tax benefit if you are a parent, so filing your taxes each year can benefit you directly. For more information on what tax credits you may be eligible for and how to claim them, we recommend speaking to a financial advisor. When it comes time to file your taxes, we have a few tips to make the process smoother for you. It helps to keep any documents you need for your taxes as you gather them throughout the year. Keep things like pay stubs, receipts for charitable donations, and receipts for monthly transit passes in a safe place so you have them ready when it comes time to file your taxes. Although the promise of an instant tax return is exciting, it's best to avoid agencies that promise this to clients. These agencies charge a fee for instant refunds, so you don't end up getting the full amount you're entitled to. You could also end up owing the tax agency. If the refund amount they gave you is higher than what you're actually entitled to, you'll have to pay back the difference. If you can't afford to pay to have your taxes done, you may be able to get help from a tax clinic. These clinics are open to anyone who makes under $35,000 a year and needs help with personal taxes. Their tax clinics are volunteer run, so they aren't able to take on complex cases. Sources runs 3 of these clinics, one of which is year-round, while the other 2 run from March until August when demand is highest. To find the tax clinic nearest to you, you can go to the CRA webpage linked above. Next, we're going to look at strategies for handling debt. It can be overwhelming when you're facing a large bill or an emergency expense, but the most important thing to remember is to stay calm. As many as 1 in 5 Canadians feel overwhelmed by their debt. Not only are you not alone, but there are plenty of resources available to help. The first thing you want to do is call the agency you have debt with and be honest about your situation if it prevents you from being able to pay. Some agencies have programs in place to help with these kinds of situations, such as the BC Hydro Customer Crisis Fund. We'll get more into detail about resources in a little bit, but in general, honesty is the best policy. Once you've called the agency and explained your situation, it's important to show your commitment to following through and paying your debt. You'll want to make a payment as soon as possible. It's important that you pay as much as you can afford at the time to show your commitment to paying off your debts. If possible, it can help to make a repayment plan with the agency so that you can avoid having to deal with a collections agency or utilities disconnection. If you're able to make arrangements with the company, it can help to keep track of who you spoke to, when, and what was said. Ask the worker for their direct line so that you can reach them directly in the future if you need to make changes to your repayment plan. You'll want to keep any documentation you receive, such as proof of payments, and if you're able to make plans to tackle your debt, you'll want to get them in writing. Keep these in a safe place so that you can provide proof of your repayment plan and that you've been keeping up with it. If you end up speaking to another worker or agency about your repayment plan, you may need to show proof of this arrangement. If the agency does not have any customer crisis programs and is not willing to make a repayment plan, your best bet will be to reach out to community service agencies rather than going straight to payday loans. Many community services offer subsidies or more manageable loans such as rent bank loans. However, it can take time to receive help from these programs. It can be tempting to go to a payday loan business because you can get access to the money you need sooner, but these businesses charge high interest fees and can lead to even more debt down the road. Many people have more than one debt. For example, someone might have been paying off a credit card, a car, and a student loan. This can be very overwhelming, but we found two popular strategies that have been proven to help in situations like these. The first one is the avalanche method. The idea behind the avalanche method is to make minimum payments on all of your debts and then put any leftover money towards the debt with the highest interest rate. This can result in lower payments over time because you'll be paying less in interest. Like an avalanche, it can take some time for this to build up, but once you start seeing results, they can make a big impact. The second method is the snowball method. The snowball method involves paying off your smallest debts first and working your way up to your biggest debts. Although this can take longer to eliminate overall debt, it can help keep you motivated when you see a smaller debt paid off in full. If you find yourself overwhelmed by debt and don't know where to begin, you may want to reach out to a credit counselor for professional help. The Credit Counseling Society provides free credit counseling, help with budgeting, and debt consolidation. For more information on their services, you can go to their website as shown above. When it comes to things you use often, buying in bulk can help you save money in the long run. Although it costs more upfront to buy a larger pack of something, the price per use will be lower, which stretches your money farther. This is effective for non-perishable staple foods like rice or flour, as well as personal hygiene products. When grocery shopping, certain stores will discount foods close to their sell-by date by as much as 50%. This is most common with meat and dairy products. This can help if you plan to use that food immediately, or you can freeze it to use later. Apps such as Flash Food partner with stores to let you browse and claim foods that are close to their sell-by date, then go pick it up in store. Finally, when it comes to a sale, not every sale is a good one. You may find that the discounted price at one store is the same or even higher than the regular price at another store. When it comes to big purchases, be sure to compare prices at different stores to make sure you're getting the best deal. Apps such as FlipApp can also help with price matching at grocery stores so that you can make sure you pay the best price for your everyday purchases as well. If you receive income assistance or persons with disabilities benefits, there are additional resources that may be available to you through the Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Reduction. These crisis supplements are available to clients facing one-time unexpected crisis that prevents them from accessing the thing in question. Where the client has no other way to access these things, the ministry might help with either a food crisis supplement of up to $40 per person per month, a clothing supplement up to $100 per person per year, up to a maximum of $400 for a family of 4 or more, and a shelter crisis supplement of up to your total monthly benefit amount. The ministry has many other supplements available to clients for things such as medical expenses. For more information, inquire within your local ministry office or go to the MSDPR website. If you aren't a ministry client, there are still resources available to help with rent and utilities. BC Housing has 2 subsidies available to provide ongoing help with rent. The rental assistance program can help low and moderate income families who spend over 30% of their income on rent. BC Housing has a similar program for seniors, Shelter Aid for Elderly Renters, also known as SAFER, which can help renters who are 60 or older and spend over 30% of their income on rent. People receiving income assistance or provincial disability benefits are not eligible for these programs. BC Hydro may also be able to help customers facing disconnection due to unexpected crises through their Customer Crisis Fund. BC Hydro can provide grants up to $600 to customers with electric heating in their homes and up to $500 to customers who have homes that don't have electric heating. The Customer Crisis Fund can only help customers once every 12 months, so unlike BC Housing, this is not ongoing help. If you need help with managing finances, the Credit Counseling Society may be able to help. The Credit Counseling Society provides free credit counseling and budgeting help and can also help with debt consolidation. If you're looking to go back into the workforce or find a new job, WorkBC may be able to help. WorkBC offers a variety of programs that can help with improving employable skills, resume building workshops, and helping you to find work through guided work searches or their online job postings. If you face barriers to employment and feel that you'd benefit from more support, Source's Empowered for Employment programs may be able to help. Empowered for Employment has 3 programs to meet different barriers. They offer an admin and accounting program for adults 55 and over who may be re-entering the workforce and need help getting familiar with office computer programs. The Youth Thrive program helps some unemployed youth aged 15 to 30 in developing employable skills where they may be lacking in experience. Empowered for Employment also runs Skills for Today's Workplace, which can help survivors of violence and abuse in finding independence through employment. All of these programs help in developing employable skills, resume building, work search, and work placement. If you're in need of advocacy or housing support, the Sources Newton Resource Center may be able to help you. We provide advocacy services, which can help with matters relating to income assistance, provincial and federal disability benefits, other federal income supports such as employment insurance, and tenancy disputes. Our housing team can help in finding and maintaining housing by providing housing advocacy and facilitating access to resources. For more information on any of these services, please call the numbers shown on the screen.